Allora, Ronald, hello, Ronald.
How are you, Paola? How are
How
you?
are you? Yes, I'm fine. After the experience of the COVID, is a very incredible experience for the future of the new world, for the new roads,
Yes.
and we have understand that we are guests in the world. The nature is not interested of our humankind, but
Yes.
has a process that is independent. And so it's a very pleasure to meet you for
It's my pleasure.
Fuorisalone.it. That is a first digital experience in the furniture fair. It is very nice promotion for the designer architect. And and so we speak about our experience, your experience is that you are designer, designer, and architect. And my experience is 35 years more of contemporary design and contemporary art. We start with your beautiful language of your design, art design, because you
Thank
live
you, Paola.
border of the industrial design, art design. Your artworks is full of the contaminations that is mixed the architecture, meet Brazilian roots, and also you created a connecting a conserve very strong in the architecture of your pieces between the language of these roots and the architecture. How you live this creation inside of the art design and inside industrial design, because it's two different language.
Yes. You see, here in Brazil, as you are saying, I work with the both languages. I have a very close contact with the factories here. We have good factories here, very good quality, as European quality we have here to do furniture, and they're increasing more and more the quality here. For my work, it's so limited to work in one language only. I'm very open about languages. I'm very open to learn. I'm trying to figure out the best way how to be a designer. You know, every day I learn a little bit with architecture, about nature, about everything that surrounds me, to be a better person, a better designer. You know, so I use those facilities here to promote my work as well. Even as an industrial designer, even an artist. I don't divide too much. There's no line between the both works for me. For sure, I have to use more technicals and ergonomics and how you can say use more, need to be more useful as an industrial designer than artist or design art. That's for sure, because people have to buy, people have to put in their houses, and the design have to work. I always say the design is an art, how to solve a problem with art for me. Design, it's that, you know. I use...
Yes, but you change, I see the beautiful fluid chair. This is a very, very nice, the fluid chair. Is a fantastic chair because you have a signature more strong in the sculptures language. And you have it just divided because the art design is divided of the industrial design. So probably in your mind, your language is unique, but in your expression is different.
Yeah,
because when you do in the art design is a borderline between design and art, and where the language of the material is a balance more strong, and the architecture equilibrium is less strong inside of the design industrial pieces. So I see in the last pieces that you have a perception that probably you need more to go in the art direction. Because I see with the fluid pairs, I understand that you have a new perception more outside of the art. So the art design is born from the contemporary art design, because the art design is born only 20 years ago, after the postmodern that was named the contemporary contemporary design. The contemporary design is the normal dimension of the modernist collectors, the modernists. So now the art design names born about 201 at the end of the last century for the concept of part more of the market, because before the pieces is limited in 25, 40, and the art design is a strong language of 6 pieces, more experience research, and the art design is the root of the research for the industrial design. So I see your experience in these pairs when you work beautiful wood, and the shapes like the technique of Molino, the 1950, very, very technical. So I understand that you are in the processing in the new language. Tell me of the new experience, because I see also a lens that you give. So I see that you change the art design.
That's true. That's true.
What happened? What happened inside you?
I learned a lot with the industrial design. The industrial design for me, it's a school. How to use materials, how to improve, and how rich I can be. So the industrial design for me, it's a university. So I learned, but my passion for sure is art design. My passion for me is to be an artist, not only industrial design.
This I see now in your language.
And that's true, and I'm very happy you compare me with Molino. Molino for me is an icon, it's a legend, you know. And so I'm very happy that you say that. These last pieces I sent to you, the fluid wood.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a passion for me, because it's a contrast between the concrete and the hard stone. And I made a wood like it's flowing, make a fluid. You know, this contrast for me it's so important. You know, because I can show the life and the death in one piece. You know.
Yeah.
It's a fight before the life and death, and that's what I want. The life growing in a death stone, you know, and surrounding, and it makes a plastic movement that's very interesting me in this moment, you know. I will explore more and more this concept from now in other pieces and other languages. This contrast very interests me right now. And you are true.
I see this beautiful. I see that there is a new concept in your hands, in your process, and and in these pieces is very, very more border more of the art design, because normally the art design is a limit. Because for me, a designer architect can to produce the art design. An artist can't to produce an art design piece. Because the roots of the art design is the architecture level.
That's true.
So is out of this language to push in the concept, but your school, I see your school, university, that is the regular, the structure of the Orthodox, of the Bauhaus, of the language of the Bauhaus. It is a very concept of the Orthodoxy that in Europe, there is the continuation of this language, and there is a conflict with the modernism, like Carlo Mondino, like Mendelssohn. In 1930, Mendelssohn was the first architect that tried to go out in the space of the. But today in the university, we declared this conflict. In Europe, there is this conflict between the Orthodox language that university, they want to recognize the new style in the Bauhaus, and the new that is the completely different, that is the experience to go out and start with Molino, start with Mendelssohn, Molino, because Gio Ponti, for example, is completely different from Molino. Molino continues the experience of the materials in the free language of the space.
Even Castiglioni is a little bit like that.
Even Castiglioni, yes. But today, there is a part of the designer, art designer, that continues this experience, and this we have in Europe is for that in Europe we have the design that is authorial design with this concept, but is finished the authorial design. It's for that Brazilian that I like. I work from long times with my partner, Leia Paz, that represent in Italy many designer artists, and that give me the possibility to introduce with this famous and fantastic artists like you, like Sergio Matos, Giuliano Guidi, a lot. But I like of the Brazilian because it's the contamination of the Brazilian is to the new frontiers that for the diaspora of the language. And so I think that the futures, such as the experience of the Campana, that is the school that's open this new language of the organic process, open the door for your generation, of this new generation, yes, that continues to experience the nature organic without the kitsch, because it's very important to have this experience without the kitsch, because the kitsch is very easy when you work with the nature. If you don't balance well, it's very easy to create a piece that has not emotional, it's not language. So the concept of the art poor, arte povera, in the art of the 1960s, 1970, with the very famous art that beginning the new language of the world. So I think that today is the streets for the eco design, green design, green art, and the Brazilian architect and design. I think that they are very, very trendsetter in this new concept for the future. What do you think about?
You see, the Brazilian modernism was very strong, and it's very difficult for us as a designer to move forward, because everybody abroad expects us as a Brazilian designer to follow the modernism school from Brazil from the 50s.
Yeah.
Sometimes they ask me there in Italy how I can move forward and don't seems like our Brazilian modernists from 50s. How the Brazilian designers can move forward and be important like our masters will be. So it's very difficult for us, very difficult, because our modernism was very, very strong. You have Sergio Rodrigues, you have Zhao Zupin, you have a lot of important designers here. And they are industrial designers, not art designers. But I think you found the clue. Because for us, as an art designers from Brazil, we have to follow the organic movement. We have to follow.
It's very important.
We have to follow the nature. We have to follow what builds us as a designer here. That's our clue. Like Sergio Matos are doing, you know, like I'm trying to do, like Campanas are
Sergio
doing. It's very organic, very natural.
Yes, but there is a very your pieces, your language is the same roots, but your expression is completely different of Sergio Matos. Sergio Matos is more inside of the Amazonian, of this indigenous experience. Is just a upcycling language. It's like a upcycling language of the texture, the pieces, but there is border of the diaspora is inside of the material, where the material is very, very strong. In your pieces, there is the elegance where you balance the conceptual function of the piece, and also inside of your piece, the beautiful, you see the materials that is very precious, and you have a respect of these materials, but the materials is not the first language of your pieces, but is inside the equilibrium. Fantastic. But in the art design, because your pieces, there is also inside another language that is your declaration, social declaration, because I see that a lot of your pieces there is dedicated to the very important people of the history, like the Soto, so it's very nice because is like to discover a deep roots inside your piece, and so is unique in the language, but there is also a social meaning. This is very nice. It's like a poet. This is.
I'm trying to put the materials to work for me. You know, I'm trying to reach the architectural meaning and the nature meaning, using not too much materials and turning them to work for me. I take the wood and round with the wood with the more elegant way I can to work for me, you know. But I always have to keep some useful way, you know. The chair must to sit well, must to fit, must to need useful, you know. This is very important to me. Not only make an art design and the people cannot use. This is sculptural. This is not. You know. And there's a very thin line to divide the both situations. And for me, it's very important. You have to use, you have to approach. The sensorial meaning is very important to me, you know. And I'm trying that's why the industrial design is important to me. Now I know how to use materials to work for me, you know. Even the concrete I use is very light. It's not a heavy one. It's very technical. We have rubber inside. We have some polymers inside that makes it lighter, and that's very important in my work now. You know, Sergio Matos, a very good friend of mine, use the communities. He goes inside the Amazon, and he took the materials itself.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's
he took the material itself to work for him.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm trying to change the materials to work for me, as the same way.
Yes,
you know?
but the difference is the experience. The experience of because Sergio Matos every day is an experience, and there is the continuation of the contamination with the tradition of the Amazonian people. He
That's
lives,
true.
he lives this experience. So it's completely different because every piece is a history of this research that do directly. It's like a performer. It's like a performer.
Like a performer, yes. Yeah, like a priest. Like a priest.
Your pieces as the architecture, language of the roots of the university school, that inside this equilibrium there is your language that is both the contamination, the materials experience, the artists. So it's very, very interesting. And another thing is very interesting how you connecting because the connection of the contamination of the meat, the meat, because the Brazilian is like the Brazilian is very special country because there is so many contamination from a long times in the history, from the indigenous, from the Portuguese, from the is complicated and is like a little our Jewish community, because also the Jewish language is a contamination of the diaspora. So how is the border of your Jewish language and the contamination of diaspora? Like as you live the two different diaspora, the Jewish diaspora and the Brazilian.
You see, it's very interesting that you are saying this. I saw that the work from Ron Gilad, the work from Arik Levy, the work from many Jewish design artists.
Yeah.
Even you can see some architectural meaning.
Yeah.
And the organic meaning in their works. And it's amazing, you know. It's similar. I don't know why. Maybe the education we had. Maybe some kind of protest we have to make for the community, for the nature, for the architecture. Maybe we need to put our names in the history somehow, you know. And this is very important. But there's a connection. But I cannot find words, and I cannot find how to say. But it's in our background, in our DNA somehow. You know, it's a very strange. You know.
We have a very famous designer that is the first art design concrete that is Jewish from Arad. His name is Ron Arad.
Ron Arad, it's very near on my fluid wood.
Ron Arad is the first designer that worked with our gallery. And in 1989, when my sister and I, we opened the first gallery in Milano after Turin.
He's great.
Ron with a sculpture in London, in Camelot, and he hasn't any idea of the design, the art design. He was a sculptor. And
Paola,
after in the process to enter in the art design world, he was the first art design. And
you see how he used it too.
Also Danny Lane, that is a very short designer, fantastic, that lives in London, friend of Ronald, that after stopping, you remember the beautiful pieces of art design in glass. So Ron Arad also David Palterer. David Palterer works for 20 years with my gallery, and is an Israeli designer with a fantastic emotional art design glass pieces, and also the pieces that he projected in the furniture, but with the antiques roots of the, I think that the diaspora of the Jewish and the other diaspora is the cosmic energy outside of the material. The roots emotional. It is the roots. Is the mystic, because they can't, when the contamination coming mystic, when for you?
It takes time. It's coming, and changing my way to see. You grow up as a designer every day. You were talking about Ronald. You see how he turned steel, very hard material, to make an organic movement. You saw that. I remember this.
Yes, this mystic emotion is when the art design piece pick you, that the piece has a language and communication with you, an atmosphere very strong. This is the perfect. So,
You see,
is a very, very interesting that opted Fuorisalone.it, the digital first people see in my gallery. Paola Colombari, in your and visit your website, because it's very, very interesting and fantastic piece where you go out to open the new street, and you need a new experience. I think that you serve a new experience, that you are ready.
Thank you very much. Maybe next year we can do it. This year, what happened?
So this year we have the COVID, and obviously all the fair. I hope to start, because the first fair will be in September, but the COVID obviously changed our epoch. We enter in the new digital virtual contact marketing, the future, and we don't leave the language of culture, change only the expression of the business, and also I think the border with the real life and the not real life is beginning. How is the limit of both? We just live from 10 years only this problem, and the only give us immediately the experience to beginning to work with new concepts, that the abstraction conceptual of the new future contact market that is not real. We have not the future of the lot of the events, the exhibition, but we have need of a lot of digital exhibition, the gallery 3D, because the future will be the gallery in 3D, and the new brand that will be digital. Digital is the experience where give the process quickly of our mind, more quickly, and probably this when it's finished the COVID, probably we have had all people the experience digital that probably is more strong of the real life, and it's important immediately to create a brand because our real life is different of our new second life of the new epoch. We own a very little part because we have the world and like is finished the globalization.
I think so.
On our hands, the virtual and the world will change for us because we have not before the contrary. So, or will be the digital experience and work, and in life connecting in second time. So, it's an example. If every we live the stress or to go in London exhibition furniture. Why? Now we go only, we have a meeting, we have a concrete necessary, and only after that we have do the content marketing of digital.
Yeah, you are right. Yeah, you are right. Yeah, this is going to change. I think the end of the globalization is very near. I agree with you. Yeah. I agree with you. I think all the cultures must grow up again, you know, because those mixing things, everybody are losing meaning, losing context, losing the roots the people have, you know. And yeah. I think this is the end right now. But it's a good thing. It's a good thing. It's a new moment. It's a good thing.
Yes, it's a good, and also is a good, such as that we enter in the new this concept of the design that will be okay, the ecological design, the green design, climatic design. But I think that there will be a digital design because in the contemporary is just enter the new artists of digital. For example, in the Christie's, 8 months ago, there was in the auction an artwork that composed the 5,000 pixel. It is of 10,000 pages of the 16th century, and incredible. And now begin in photography the new digital art. So I think that will be the future, the new digital art design and the industrial design.
Yes, yes, and I think we have to stop to only think about ourselves and our family. We have to look around the community more. You know, the people who have needs about the nature itself. You know, it's a divide moment. You know, it's a turning point we are living right now. To digital ways to work, as you were saying, about the nature, about the respect we have to have for each other. And you saw that black guy there that it's killed in America. It's unbelievable what they did. That it starts a very horrible moment. You saw the policeman in New York killing. It's not in America. In that guy, it's unbelievable. It's our moments. We have to stop him.
This is not the contamination, but this is the suprematism. This is the process of the assimilation. Why the assimilation? Because this is a theme, a very antique in the Second World. And also that we see in this during this date, that we have the suprematism, we have the conflict, we have not the contamination. And because the contamination is a respect for the different language, but we do, because the society is very important, and also language, all our works, how do the galleries, how you do the design, with the social respect for the freedom, for the respect of the different language of the culture in the world. Yes. So the States is just the opposite of your peace, because your peace is a respect of language, the contamination, but instead born of the diaspora, that is a very fragile diaspora, because there is not the integration.
Yes.
Do now water, and such as if we enter in the new democracy of the control of the democracy that is not democracy, like the China, like the process of the digital, the control process of our life is very important that we immediately our language for being digital, for to create a better digital control of the states. Very important. But now it's possible that we live in colonization. Second colonization, a very dangerous. It's very important that the art nation do this inside of the because if we don't, it's very dangerous.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. It's dangerous to live as you think. If somebody is watching us all the time, that's a scary thing. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I don't know how to put that in my art, because I always think in to show only good things, good vibes with my art, but this contamination you were saying in the digital way and everything affects me too. The democracy in risk here in Brazil and everything affects me a lot. You are right. You are completely right.
You have a very good work. Your work that you are designer, my work that is very important because it's a free expression of to create something with our hands for to contribute of the respect of the society, to give the possibility and to promote it is important.
Because and be positive all the time.
Yeah, all the time. Yes. And now I think that next year, where there will be the furniture fair that is finished the COVID, obviously people beginning to live without this limit of 1 meter. But in our mind, there was a click. This click of the mind, it starts now. So I think that it is enormous. And also in your art design and design probably in the future, you need to have an a bureau that the visitor like me, we enter and we for this we enter a big room of your mind. The future will be in this direction, but it's very expensive because the need money. It's for that on the platform. For example, Gallery years in form of net, I pay with the credit card every month. My service included my assistant. This is a virtual assistant in Berlin.
This is works.
And my gallery is open 24 hours for 24 hours. But now I participated in the future platform that in Italy they want to create it. And that will be like a mall. In the future, you enter the visitor at a big mall, and you have in this mall the first for art design, for contemporary photo. You have the modern art. You have the museum. You have the caveau. This is just the street food, but it's a long way. You start. But for example, during the my gallery work, I work very well because I sell connecting and I love my gallery. The only thing I was sick See.
These new platforms will be the future. I'm pretty sure about, will be the thing. This is, we'll call here in Brazil as a new normal. I don't know. It's a good word to say, but it's a new normal.
Yes. And the platform will be divided for clients. Not all the platform will be the same, because there will be the platform the snob platform that you enter because it's visitors with the VIP card. Well, at the beginning, a very change. But we do and try to live this change rate. But I think that the research, the language, the experience is the same for the artist, for the art design. My work will be the same. Is only the difference is only in the market. How you do the market.
I say this here.
Yeah.
I keep my work as I am doing. I do my best. The only thing we change is the market. We have to expect. We don't know, but it will be nice. I'm pretty sure about it. I'm optimistic.
Yeah. So I see, Ronald. I plan to visit to the Brazil in the summer, but it's impossible. Right, because my idea is to visit the Design Week in Brazil. That in August, I think is at the end of August. No.
It will not happen, Paola, unfortunately. But next year I will go to Milan in 21, and I expect you here, please.
Yes. And okay, allora we experience in Fuorisalone.it, and your beautiful piece is in my website that all the people can to see, and I will organize for the next year's a new exhibition. I hope during the furniture fair, and we organize a very nice exhibition with the theme of the contamination.
Thank you, Paola. It's an honor to be with you. Okay?
Yes.
Jesus.
Okay. Ciao. Bye.